go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
All right, Danny. Well, it's a pleasure having you in the office. I know it was a pretty quick trip for you, right around the corner, which is nice. But thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Like I said, it's easy trip, so I'll be here a lot.
Awesome. We are fired up to have you on the platform and have you entering the Dub Club ecosystem, and really excited to win more together with you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really excited to be working with you guys as well.
All right, man. Well, let's dive into when this whole journey started for you.
Yeah.
When did you begin betting? When did you dive,
Yep.
full time into something like this?
So I've always been like into gambling ever since I was growing up, but I started with daily fantasy sports before sports betting got legal, and that was when I was in college, like 2012, 2013. I started playing on like DraftKings and FanDuel. And then I started my YouTube channel in 2018. And I started it because there was not a lot of people doing like niche content, I guess. There was no one covering the preseason. That's kind of how I got my name, is covering a little bit more of the niche stuff, preseason, summer league stuff. So started my YouTube channel 2018. And yeah, honestly, it was just because I love talking sports, love talking DFS, sports gambling, all that stuff. And so, yeah, was making videos, live streaming every single day. Wasn't really making any money at the time. I just really did it because I loved it. And then 2021 was when I started my Patreon. And that was, my idea there was just, okay, this is going to be like a side source of revenue. Like, make a little money on the side. Because I was working full-time here in Chicago. And it got to the point after a couple months of watching that where I was making like over 2 times what I was making at my old job.
That's awesome.
I was like, all right, this is something I want to do full time. And I ended up staying a little bit longer at my old company just because they were shorthanded. So I stayed there until the summer. And that like 6-month stretch when I launched the Patreon until when I fully stepped down from my other job I was working insane hours, like 18-hour days or something. I was not sleeping. So
Machine.
Yeah, I loved it though. Like it was definitely worth it. But yeah, probably the best decision I ever made was taking that leap and offering that content full time. And yeah, now I'm here and it's the best decision I ever made. So
congratulations to you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hell of a story. You have an awesome presence on Twitter. You've built out an unbelievable community. And you crush YouTube. So for anybody listening, go check him out. It's fantastic content.
Appreciate that.
Let's talk about your style in particular. I know
Yep.
obviously in your name it's DK DFS,
Yep.
but you've expanded beyond just
Yep.
DFS. Tell me a little bit about what somebody can expect when joining your community in terms of bet type, bet volume.
Yep. Yeah, so I got into player prop stuff a couple years ago. Started mainly on Prize Picks. So I do that. I do Underdog. And then with Dub Club right now, the plan is to do more sportsbook specific plays. But I'm focusing on NBA. That's like my main sport, so people know me by. NFL as well. But yeah, I'm mainly into prop betting. So that's where you're going to see a lot of with Dub Club.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Talk to me about, finding value in the prop market. I mean, the Prize Picks of the world, the Underdogs,
Yep.
the Sleepers have just flown onto the scene, and I
100%.
see just as many people playing props as I do sides and totals.
Yep.
How are you finding value in these markets at the rate in which you are?
Yeah, so like I have a pretty long process, but a lot of it is, at least for NBA, I talk about this a lot, is like I know rotations like the back of my hand. Like I said, I've been playing DFS for over 10 years, so I know like right away if one player's out, like who benefits.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly like a huge nerd. Like I can just look at lines and see like, okay, without even looking into stuff, it's like, oh, that's like a little too high, that's a little too low. Just on like first glance. But then there's a lot more that goes into it. Like I look into advanced stats. And yeah, there's a lot of tools that I use, but I would say one of the big things is really the just knowing when one player is out or this player specifically is out, like who gets a direct benefit. Like that's easy because I know, like I said, the rotations. I know these coaches, how they play it, because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, that's fascinating. It's the perfect combination of just the knowledge base that you've built, but also incorporating, as you mentioned, you use services, looking in data analytics, et cetera. Let's talk about finding value across different sports, because you hit on it earlier.
Yep.
You handicap, NFL as well.
Yep.
Is there a sport in particular that you find either the most fun to handicap,
Yep.
and as well as being the most profitable?
Yeah, I would say NBA, just because it's every single day. With football, obviously, you take a few days off. So, I like going into night before. I'll do some research. I'll try to post like a prop thread too on Twitter every single day, kind of going into each team, giving a few pointers, like if this guy's out, okay, these players benefit. So I like the research process the best for NBA, finding value. And I talked about it a little bit earlier, but my most profitable, honestly, is a little bit more of the niche stuff, the preseason. Like that's where I make the most money, or even summer league, NBA. I cover that too.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's
and
beautiful.
that is a grind, I'll tell you that. Summer league, it's like a 2-week stretch in the summer. And I tell people, like, I don't leave my apartment. Like I'm in there, like I'm working like when I wake up to when I go to bed, I'm working. So yeah, I love doing that.
Speaking of that, I would love to dive into what a day in the life looks like
sure.
for you. I mean, you've built such an awesome presence across so many different platforms. You built this fan base. They probably want to know, hey, what does day in the life look like for Danny?
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. I actually do have, and I want to make more content like this. I have a few YouTube videos, day in the life
Very
stuff.
cool.
So if anyone's curious, you can go check that out on my YouTube. I have a couple just like normal in Chicago, and then one where I went to Vegas. But yeah, day in the life is wake up usually a little bit later, just because I'm up pretty late. We'll talk about that in a sec, but I'm waking up at like 9 to 10, eating breakfast, and right away I'm looking into prop stuff, or I'm looking into DFS. I'm looking into just watching videos, just getting consensus for the day, getting ready for it, and then so I'll do like my general research process, and then I'll start working my DFS content as well. So I'll post that over on my Patreon, and then usually I try to get a workout in like early afternoon, just because like no one's at the gym then. So try to go there, and then come back again. That's where I'm usually posting my props. Sometimes I'll post it early in the day depending on what's up, but usually a lot of the stuff is up a little bit later in the afternoon. You have to wait a little bit. So then I'm posting my prop stuff, and then I do a live stream every single day before lock for daily fantasy content. So I'll go in, and that's like 30 minutes before the game start. I'll go in and talk about the slate, answer any questions, and then usually when the games start, I'm not one that likes to sweat bets. So like I'm keeping track of what's going on. But I don't really like to watch a ton of games or sweat my bets. Usually I try to focus on other work, or, do working on other stuff maybe for the next day.
Yeah.
And then I'm making my YouTube videos for the next day. So I'll do like a daily fantasy sports video, and then I'll try to get a like player prop video up as well. And then I'm making those videos usually pretty late. I try to do it like after the games are over.
Jeez.
So I'm usually up around like 2:30 every day. Yeah.
That is incredible, dude.
Yeah.
You are a machine.
Yeah.
Well, hey, 2 last questions for you,
Yep.
little quick hitters. Our listeners love hearing stories about
sure.
your favorite cashes and your worst beats. Are there any that come to mind for you right away?
I've had so many bad beats. I'm trying to think. Well, okay, I'll say this. This was this year. I had Max Strus over fantasy score on Prize Picks, and he was over by 3. It was over by, I think it was 2.5 or something. So I was like clearly like way over.
Yeah.
Few minutes left in the game. I'm thinking, okay, cashing this. And this was for like a 10x or something. I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, we're going to have a huge day. Last 3 minutes of the game, Max Strus does not record any stats other than 3 turnovers to go back under.
Oh my God.
So I'd say that's honestly probably one of the worst beats, if not the worst beat that I've experienced. There's probably more about it to think about it, but that one is tough.
That's a tough
Yeah.
one, especially with a 10x on the line. That's
100%.
brutal.
Yeah. And then as far as big wins go, I've had a few $5,000 to $10,000 wins over on DFS. 25Xs are always great to hit too on Prize Picks. I've had 3 so far this year, so those are always exhilarating. But I would say some of the big like DraftKings wins are nice. I've come close to 6 figures a few times too. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, let's hope that you get there this year. And once again, it's a pleasure having you in the office, and can't wait to see a ton of you around here.
Yeah, thanks again for interviewing, and it was great talking to you.
Dollar, 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 dollar.